I was out checking my fences, the spring air crisp in Willow Bend, Montana, when I stumbled on a ribbon of fresh asphalt slicing through my pasture like a knife through butter, a road, uninvited, stretching 90 yards into my family's land. My heart sank as I followed the tire marks, each step heavier, knowing this wasn't a mistake but a theft. And when I saw the Sage Hills HOA's logo on a nearby sign, I knew exactly who'd done it. Pamela Reed, their president, who thought my fields were her playground. As I stood there, boots sinking into the mud, my dad's old survey map crumpled in my hand, I felt a fire ignite, not just to protect my land, but to make Pamela regret ever crossing me. Because she just started a war she couldn't win. My name's Luke Harmon, 48, a rancher who's walked these 200 acres since I was a kid, learning every ridge, every stream from my granddad, who bought this place in '62. It's not just dirt. It's where my dad taught me to track deer, where I scattered his ashes after cancer took him, where I'm raising my daughter, Ellie. To know the land's heartbeat, I keep to myself, run a small herd, fix my own fences, and never bother the Sage Hills folks, whose cookie-cutter home sprouted up a decade ago on what used to be open prairie. But Pamela, with her power suits and her HOA clipboard, didn't see boundaries, she saw opportunities. And my unfenced land was her latest conquest. Her road wasn't just a trespass. It was a spit in the face of everything I hold dear, and I wasn't about to let it stand. It started that morning, when I traced the tire marks to where the pines part, the asphalt gleaming like it was mocking me. I pulled out Dad's laminated map, the one he'd marked with his steady hand. And my stomach twisted. The road cut deep into our property, connecting two Sage Hills streets like a shortcut they'd no right to take. I called the county, got a clerk who confirmed no permits, no easements, nothing legal. The road didn't exist on paper, but there it was, black and bold, stealing my land. I drove to the Sage Hills HOA office, a shiny building that looked like a bank, and met Greg, a slick talker with a fake smile. "Mr. Harmon," he said, like we were buddies, "this road's for emergency access, fire trucks, ambulances. Your land wasn't posted, so we assumed you were fine with it." I gripped the counter. "Assumed? This is my property. You don't build without asking." He shrugged, tossing out community safety like a shield. I left, fuming. And by dusk, I'd hauled cinder blocks and no trespassing signs from town, stacking them across the road like a line in the sand. I sat on my porch that night, beer in hand, knowing I'd just fired the first shot. 2 days later, a guy in a suit showed up, handing me a lawsuit like it was junk mail. Sage Hills HOA was suing me for obstructing an emergency route, demanding I remove my barricade and grant a permanent easement. The word hostility in their complaint hit me like a slap. Me, hostile, for defending what's mine? I paced my kitchen. The papers spread out, each line, public endangerment, failure to cooperate, tightening my chest. They hadn't used that road for emergencies, not once. This was Pamela's play, her way of flexing power, and I wasn't about to roll over. I called my old friend, Clara Voss, a property lawyer with a razor-sharp mind and no patience for bullies. "Luke," she said, scanning my deed, "they've got nothing legal, just money and nerve. Let's hit back." We dug in, pulling every record, my granddad's deed, county maps, even Dad's sketches, and found the HOA's claim was built on air. But air can still suffocate if it's got enough cash behind it, and Pamela had plenty. The HOA didn't stop at lawsuits. A week later, I caught a guy photographing my barricade, handing me a Sage Hills newsletter calling me a recluse blocking family safety. Whispers followed at the feed store, the diner. Even my mechanic gave me a look, saying, "Heard you're causing a ruckus, Luke." Pamela was spinning me as the villain, a loner hoarding land from progress. I kept my head down. But it stung. This wasn't just about me. It was about Ellie, who heard kids at school repeat the lies. Then came the gut punch. Walking my north fence, I found a plastic sleeve tucked in the rocks, a signed easement agreement, my name inked at the bottom, dated and notarized. Only I'd never signed it. The signature was close, practiced, but not mine. My knees buckled, and I sat in the dirt, the wind howling, feeling like someone had tried to erase me from my own story. This wasn't a fight anymore. It was betrayal. And Pamela had gone too far. Clara called it fraud, her voice sharp. "We need a handwriting expert. Look, this is criminal." I nodded, But inside, I was reeling. My land, my name, stolen with a pin. We hired an analyst who confirmed the forgery, and I started sleeping with a shotgun by the bed, not trusting Pamela's next move. The breaking point came on a cold dawn, when I heard engines, not thunder, but bulldozers, tearing into my south meadow, aiming for the creek my dad had dammed for our pond. I ran, heart pounding, and found Pamela leading a convoy. Her blazer crisp, her smirk colder than the frost. "You're trespassing," I shouted, planting myself in front of a backhoe. She stepped forward, hands on hips. "Luke, this is your last chance to play nice. This road's for progress." I laughed, bitter. "Progress? You forged my signature, built on my land, and now you're digging up my creek." She leaned in, voice low. "I know your debts, Luke. That tractor loan, your insurance hike. One bad ruling, and you're done. We'll take every acre when you fold." I dialed the sheriff, staring her down. "You're on my land, Pamela. Get out." Her smile wavered, and she waved her crew back. But not before they'd gutted the creek's bank, the water turning muddy, fish gasping in the shallows. I stood by that pond all night, watching it die. The dragonflies gone, the rushes limp. It wasn't just land. It was my dad's hands in the dirt, Ellie's first fishing lesson, a piece of us. Murdered. I called Clara, voice shaking. "File the suit. I don't care what it costs." She didn't hesitate. "It's time." We built a case like a fortress, the forged easement, the analyst report. And then a bombshell, an anonymous tip from a subcontractor, Miguel Torres, who'd graded the road 3 years back. "Karen told us it was HOA land," he said. She laughed. "Said you'd cave or go broke fighting." He agreed to testify. No spotlight, just truth. Clara dug deeper, finding HOA budgets funneled through a ghost contractor, thousands siphoned for the road. The county clerk, seeing the files, whistled. "This'll be a hell of a case." The courtroom felt like a pressure cooker, the air thick with tension, the gallery packed with ranchers, reporters, and Sage Hills folks who wouldn't meet my eyes. I sat in my dad's old flannel, Clara beside me, her binder a weapon. Pamela, in a Navy suit, sat with lawyers who looked like they charged by the syllable. The judge, a woman with zero tolerance for fluff, got to work. Clara was surgical. She rolled out my deed, 1962 survey maps, aerial shots of the road scar. The forged easement went up on a screen, my fake signature glaring. The handwriting expert, a retired FBI guy, pointed out every flaw, shaky loops, wrong pressure. "Not Mr. Harmon's," he said. "Deliberate forgery." The jury leaned in, Pamela's lawyer squirming. Miguel took the stand, boots dusty, voice steady. Karen said, "Push through. Harmon's alone. He'll break." The room went cold. Clara showed HOA budgets, fake contractor payments, Karen's signature everywhere. Then the video, drones catching her crew ripping my creek. Pamela smirking as fish died. The silence was deafening. Pamela's team flailed, claiming I'd allowed the road by not fencing sooner, that it was community need. Clara shut them down with zoning records. No permits, no easement, pure trespass. When Pamela testified, she unraveled, denied the forgery, blamed her board, called me a hermit blocking progress. Clara pounced. "You signed fake contracts for a ghost company?" Pamela stammered, "I don't recall." The judge's eyebrow said it all. By closing, the jury's faces were stone. The verdict hit like thunder. Sage Hills had to rip out the road, restore my land, pay $420,000 for damages, trespass, and legal fees. Pamela was fined $100,000, got 3 years probation, and 200 hours of community service for fraud and environmental harm. The HO lost its license for 2 years, handed to state oversight. Pamela didn't look at me as she left, her lawyers scrambling. The gallery buzzing. The road's gone now, the asphalt torn up, wildflowers creeping back. I oversaw every bulldozer, every seed, turning the scar into a meadow. The creek's healing. Specialists rebuilt the bank, restocked trout, and Ellie caught her first fish there last week, her grin brighter than the sun. I upgraded my defenses, drones with thermal imaging, solar chargers hidden in the oaks, signs bolted to rocks, no easement. Luke Harmon, owner. I posted a video, "This land fights back," with drone shots of the road's destruction, the forgery, Pamela's court meltdown. It hit 1 million views, emails pouring in, farmers, students, Even a lawyer inspired to take on HOAs. Neighbors changed too. Some brought pies. Others shook my hand, ashamed they'd bought Pamela's lies. You did us all a favor, one said, and I nodded, not for praise, but because it was true. Last 4th of July, I opened the land. No HOA, just people. We grilled by the creek. Kids splashed. Fireworks broke every code I know, and I let it slide. The new state overseer, a no-nonsense woman, toasted me. Thought this was a war zone, she said. Looks like home now. I smiled, watching Ellie laugh. The land alive under a golden sky, reclaimed not just for me, but for everyone who'd forgotten what it means to stand firm. It wasn't about winning. It was about keeping what's yours, what's real, what's worth fighting for. But last week, Clara called. A new HOA, 20 miles out, just filed for an access road on a rancher's land. No permits, same playbook. Pamela's name's not on it, but her shadow is. I'm not chasing her. But my drones are charged, my maps are ready, and Ellie's learning to read them. So where are you watching from? Ever had a Pamela pave over your life, thinking you'd fold? Drop your story below. Let's talk about holding ground, fighting smart, and whether a road can spark a reckoning. Because I'm still here, and I know you are too.